WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. I have here from Still Austin the Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey with 58% ABV. The bottle goes for about $50 to $60 in the States. I got this bottle because a military person had to go back to the States and all his open bottles could not be sent back, and therefore I bought them off him from a military base. I think it was 12, 14, 16 bottles back then. It's been almost a year. And I never got around to doing a video about this. Shame on me. And someone asked me, do I have any Still Austin? I looked at it and was, yeah, I have. What happened? Oh, okay. I still have that bottle there. I never actually did anything with it. And now I finally get to do my bottle, my video. If everything goes according to plan, in April of 2025, I could be at the distillery. I will be in Texas over Easter, and I hope to be able to visit Still Austin, especially Austin, and Still Austin as at the top of my list after Fang and Feathers there from the Whiskey Tribe. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. Let's pour a little bit of this whiskey in the glass and then also talk about my comparison whiskey. I personally really enjoy something called Old Grandad 114. Now, many of you will know this bottle, all right? This is a fan favorite is what we could say there. It's not available in Germany anymore. It hasn't been available for like 4 to 5 years. So if we do find a bottle over here, it's going to be $100-some often. And I know in America it's like $25, $30, and that's just one of the things, all right? So, yeah. So this is 57 ABV or 114, and this is going to be 58, so 116 is what this is in proof, all right? So this is 2 years of age. This is 4+. Who knows? All right, let's talk a tiny little bit about Still Austin. Whiskey base 184, 104. This is aged at least 2 years. So I have, the bottle I have there is 59%. My bottle is 58. So it is here, I like that certified Texas whiskey. Very important for some people, even me. Like the bottle, actually, says Still Austin here at the bottom. Nice bottle design. Now, if we go a little bit to the history of this unique distillery, we're going to have two people, the dad, Cleveland Seals, and the son, his name is Chris Seals. So in 2012, Cleveland, in his post-retirement, was looking for a project. And he had this wild idea, let's start a whiskey distillery. Now, Chris is a longtime economist, risk manager, and he was like, nah, Dad, that's not going to work. But instead, he said, hey, let's do a feasibility study. And this feasibility study would be actually visiting a lot of distilleries in America and just finding out a little bit about whiskey production, distillery, equipment, and so on. And they spent about a year doing this, and they really got much closer than they were beforehand. They even started talking about their feelings. Ooh. So men and talking about the feelings. Chris says it was the best thing that ever happened to me and my dad. All right, so now 2023, the legislation in Texas changed, and the state laws changed, and this made it actually easier to open up a craft bourbon distillery in Texas. And now Chris was like, well, wait a second. Maybe we've been studying whiskey, we've been studying the market, we've been studying distilling for the last year, and they realized they might be just the right person at the right place at the right time. And they assembled a team of local farmers, whiskey experts, even local artists, and crazy conspirators, they call them. And together with the support of the community, Still Austin Whiskey Company was born. Now, they actually broke ground in 2024. They started distilling 3 years later, 2027. They actually brought in from Scotland, from Forsyths, their distilling equipment. Why would someone in Texas not go to Vendome in Louisville, Kentucky? Instead, they went all the way over to Scotland and got it. I don't understand that point. One day I'm going to talk with them and see and figure out the reason why. And they have some very, very unique, I'm going to call it ethical decisions they made. Ethical decision number one was grain from Texas. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been in Texas, and Texas is not really great for growing crops that need a cool climate, aka rye and malted barley. Still, Austin has their normal bourbon and their cask strength bourbon. They have their normal rye, their cask strength rye, and they have their gin at the moment. All right. And so what they did is they actually said we're going to be NGO, what was it here? Genetic manipulation. We call it genetic engineered grain. There's going to be organic grain as well. And so they said they want white corn from Texas. Texas does a great white corn. Then they have a special type of rye called Bracetto. I got this now at the end. Bracetto rye. And they have something which I've never heard of, Wildfire malted barley. It's grown through the north and the west here of Texas, mostly on the Lone Star family farm. The Lone Star is a third-generation Texas family farm focused on conservation, so very environmentally friendly, organic growing, and family-oriented business practices. All right, so not only that, they use sustainable barrels. I've never heard of sustainable barrels really in American distillery yet. So when the whiskey is ready to go, they only place it into barrels made from sustainably sourced white oak. Wow, I didn't even know that was a thing yet. Great job. First they're toasted, then they get the char 3, and that is great. The state-of-the-art distillation, they actually have a column still called Nancy. Nancy was made by Forsyths in Scotland, and Nancy is named after the main character in the science fiction horror film called Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Now, Nancy is very tall, and yes. Now, the other thing they have to kind of manage, tame, they call it, is the wild Texas weather. Going in Fahrenheit, I'm over in Europe, so it's a little bit different. Actually, Austin has that swing of the weather, and the most drastic swing on record is 46 degrees within 24 hours. So imagine one day you're at 76 degrees, and the next day you're at 20. That's crazy. But that's what happens, all right? So if you don't like our weather, that's what they say down in Australia sometimes, especially in Melbourne, and also in Austin. Just wait a minute. All right, so the head distiller, we have John Schreppel. He learned a lot from Nancy Farley. Nancy Farley is the expert when it comes to craft distilling in America. She's been in a lot of the great places we're gonna discover and actually rediscover in the next 10 years. And one of her things is talking about slow water reduction. If you ever had any contact with the gentleman or Marcia from Iron Root, you know, Cognac, Armagnac in France, they actually reduce their whiskey very, very slowly. They just don't dump it all in a big vat or a big ton and then just dump it in a lot of water. No, we bring it down slowly. And that actually helps a lot. All right, so that's that. Mashbill, I have not mentioned yet. I think that's one thing that I could also here give us, and that is going to be, I have to open this back up. We have here a Mashbill 70% white corn. We have 25% of that rye, and we have here 5% of that Wildfire malted barley. Price in the States, $60. I think $60 is actually a very fair price. If I look at anything else cask strength, I'm going to often be up in the $80 range. Okay, rare breed exception with 50. Maybe the great granddad is what I want to say. Old granddad. I renamed it. I called it the great granddad, the old granddad here with $30. But still, so that's actually not a bad price here. On the nose. Wow, I really like this nose. You've had craft whiskey before, haven't you? Like a bourbon or rye, and it's just a little funky. This isn't funky. This is good. I get maple syrup. I get pecan pie is what I get. I get a little bit of cinnamon Wow, that is fantastic. That is really, really good. The Old Grandad, just in comparison, it's a little bit more of a hazelnut type of moment. Maybe a little bit of peanut brittle. Okay, I'm going to say something else later on. I did the exact same comparison in my German video. This smells, and you can't smell creaminess, but it smells creamy. It's rich. It's very, very, very nice. I'm pleasantly surprised at this whiskey. I was not expecting this. I mean, I haven't heard a bad thing yet about Still Austin. Everyone who's ever tried anything from Still Austin, their normal bourbon, their cask strength bourbon, their normal rye, their cask strength rye, everyone has been just bubbling over with excitement, and I understand why. Let's see if we can get them over to Europe one day. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Still Austin, I'm coming to visit you. Cheers. Mmm. Mmm. Wow. I still get that pecan pie. Get a little bit of an orange zest going on in there. I would like to know what type of yeast they're using. That is good. Wow. Brown sugars. As I said, a little bit of that cinnamon, a little bit of that nutmeg, a little bit of the allspice. That's a B whiskey. Wow. That's even a B plus whiskey. Wow. I sometimes I say wow. And I say wow here. I remember Scotch Test Dummies when they did the Elijah Craig barrel proof for the first time. I think it was Scott. No, it was Bart. Bart was a bottle of wow. This is a bottle of wow. This is fantastic. I thoroughly enjoy this. That's good. Value for money for $60, C plus. I'd go out and buy a new bottle of that. I have no idea what the normal bourbon is, but let's say it's $40. I would pay the extra $20, or if it's $15 or whatever for the cask strength. That really, really comes across great. Cleanse my palate real quick. Go over to the Old Grandad 114. I thoroughly enjoy this bottle. This is one of the bottles I've been milking. This is one of the bottles that I have this, and I do not share it with anyone except for very good friends. This is my bottle, and it's almost impossible to get over here in Europe. And so this is something that this is a treat for me, okay? So I really, really, really like this. I once did Fred Minnick, he inspired me. He did his 100 best bourbons ranking of the year. It's like, well, if he can do 100, I can do 20. And so I actually set up 20 different cask strength bourbons, and I spit and tasted and spit and tasted and spit and tasted. And this came out on top. It was if not the best that was in that tasting. I did not expect it. It's like, oh, wait a second, I have something. Oh yeah, just put that in there, and it just beat almost everything. This I really, really enjoy. And now in comparison to the Still Austin, this is good, but it's thin. It's amazing. This has more ABV, right? No, this is 117. This is 57, 58. This is 1 percentage point less ABV, 2 points proof less, but it's thinner. This is creamy, rich, thick, as if it's non-chilled filtered. This is almost as if it's chill filtered. Does anyone have any information about Old Grandad 114? Is it chill filtered? I could imagine it is. The way it tastes, the way it just actually here is in my mouth. All right, so it's still good. I really, really like it. It's a B whiskey, but this is a B plus. This has a little bit more peanut brittle and has a little bit more of that hazelnut moment going on here. But as I said, it's thinner. This is so much creamier, so much thickness, so much viscosity. I really, really like this. And it's got that pecan. I love pecan pie. If you've ever done barbecue in Texas, at the end, you can have a slice of pecan pie. I don't know if you can do 2 slices, so rich. And that's what I'm getting here, that richness, that thickness, that flavor density. And well done. I normally don't gush and just be so happy about a whiskey, but this is really, really something. I'm almost sad I have to get rid of the bottle. That is so nice. Still, Austin, you're doing something good there. I'm looking forward to coming and seeing you, visiting you, and trying your products and bringing a couple other bottles home as well. As I said, this is it's a B plus whiskey, value for money, C plus. That's it. Now, the question of the day. Your favorite Texas whiskey. I'm going to actually say your favorite certified Texas whiskey. All right, so I'm going to try to hide my face here real quick. So you see that emblem there? So certified Texas whiskey, all right? That's the question. What is your favorite certified Texas whiskey? It's not going to be Yellow Rose. Yellow Rose is not certified Texas. So it's going to be Iron Root. It's going to be Balcones. It's going to be Lone Elm. It's going to be Still Austin. It's going to be Fang and Feathers. It's going to be, I don't know all the names of all the distilleries, part of the Texas Whiskey Association there. But what do you really, really like from Texas? Write it down, because I think Texas is doing great stuff, and I can't wait. Is it TX whiskey? All these other things here. What is your favorite Texas whiskey? Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others, and I'll see you here real soon back by WhiskyJason, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany. Bye-bye.